Hi everyone, Mark Sykes here, thank you for joining me. I'm really happy to be here talking to Jon Levesque. We've just come straight out of your flow session here at Ignite. For me it was absolutely awesome, really good story, went really well. Do you want to quickly introduce yourself and tell people who you are?
Yeah, so I'm Jon Levesque. I'm a senior PM on the Flow team. My job is the senior program manager, but I would say I operate much more like the platform evangelist. I focus on everything around the product, so community, social, blogs, speaking, video, content, all of that greatness is all the things that I own.
Excellent. So do you want to give a quick overview on what Flow is for the people who may not have come across it yet?
Absolutely. So Microsoft Flow is a tool that allows you to build workflow and process automation very simply. You do it by clicking and dragging instead of using code like in past solutions. And so it's actually very user-friendly, and you know, some quick examples that I can give of flows. I have one that takes email attachments and then drops them into OneDrive for me, right? That's one we always talk about as a simple personal productivity item.
Yep.
But then obviously also Flow is production ready and can handle massive workloads as well. And so there's things like Power Query, and there's things like expressions and conditional logic and scopes and switch logic and all sorts of advanced things as well. And so Flow ultimately is a tool that allows you at whatever level you're at to begin building workflow and process automation.
Fantastic. So I'm a developer by trade. I come from a code background, so I'm used to going out, creating business applications, solving these problems. So why would I use Flow as opposed to just going right to an application like I normally would?
Man, that's a great question. And you know, I think that the market is changing a bit. You know, I think in the past, custom development was what we had to do, right? And now, with these low-code tools, you have options. And so the reasons why you would use Flow instead of custom coding something is actually you can save time, right? Custom coding takes a long time. I have to understand and build everything. Whereas with Flow, we've done a lot of that for you. We went and packaged up the APIs of hundreds, 230 different services, and now you're just able to tap into those things and say, if something happens in this system, then I want something to happen over here. Or I can put in a condition that says, if this, then that, or that, right? And so
interesting name, if this, then that.
It's a great name.
It's a great, yeah.
And so I would say a couple of reasons. You know, one, time savings, and really in time savings you have cost savings. And so Flow is going to save you time and save you money, whether you're a developer that can custom code or whether you're just a business user that wants to automate simple processes.
Yeah, so I totally agree. So again, that's kind of a loaded question. Me from a developer background.
Nice.
I'm a convert. I've been all over Flow since it's come out. I absolutely love it. And I've been really trying to push the boundaries of what I can do. And the things that have really made a difference to me from a developer's perspective is access and authentication. Okay. The fact that I can access these external systems very simply, that's phenomenal. The fact I can go off, write a solution in a couple of days, I don't need to worry about authorization tokens, I don't need to worry about refresh tokens, I don't need to do any of that stuff that just caused me so much problem writing code.
Sounds like
this stuff is just easy and Flow, and it just works. That for me has been the biggest benefit. Best Flow and the most powerful Flow I've built so far is a user onboarding system from an external form. User details, do you take credit card details? Probably we'll take that bit out and do that somewhere else, just to test the process. But it comes in, and then actually what that Flow can do, it can go and connect to Stripe to create a customer account, create a subscription, create a credit card detail in there as well. If that succeeds, then it'll go off and it'll create add them to a MailChimp list. If that succeeds, then I'll go off and add them to, create an Azure AD account.
Wow.
And if any of those steps fail, I keep a log of what's happened and going back it all out. So we've got transactions in there.
Man.
This took me like less than a week to do.
I want to see that flow.
Yeah, I'll show you this.
Okay,
if I did this in code, this would be like a 3-month project.
Absolutely.
Worrying about, and mainly around accessing external systems, authorizing against them. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
This has been revolutionary to me on building those kinds of business applications.
I just love to hear that.
Yeah.
I really love to hear
we'll
that.
show you that.
I think it's one of my favorite things in the world when I hear a developer come to me and say, I'm a believer.
Absolutely. But the nice thing is, so a big thing for me we've had in the past is technical debt. Writing code needs to be supported, everything like that. So actually it's a way that kind of simplifies it, we can build these applications.
Yeah.
If there's something that I can't do, I can revert some more advanced controls, things like HTTP triggers, I can write some advanced expressions, I can even call out to Azure functions. So if something I need to do in code, I can still call out.
Totally.
So it works. So for me now, the way we work as a software development business is we write code last.
That's incredible.
write code because you have to, not because you want to. Ask a developer how to solve a problem, you get a code answer. But actually, let's think about things in a different way.
Everyone out there should be taking a lesson here. Write code last. I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that.
From a developer as well.
Yes.
So. Okay, so in the past, Microsoft has tried to empower end users to build their own applications, tried to empower users to build workflows in SharePoint Designer. We've given them InfoPath for doing form solutions. In reality, that's not really worked out. It never transpired to be an end user power user tool. It was too complicated. Is this another one where you're trying to push this to democratize for end users? Or is it actually easy and good enough that end user can get involved and actually create some flows at some level?
I love that question. And I would say it like this. I think the best way I can put it is, I am not a technical user, right? I have no technical background. I've never coded anything. I've tried a few times, failed miserably. But Flow, I could pick up and I could understand. And so for a marketing guy to be able to pick up and begin to automate his work in a meaningful way, not just scraping email attachments, but real marketing activity. I manage my Twitter account and the Microsoft Flow Twitter account through these tools. Our blogs, our Flow of the Week writers, onboarding. There's so many things that I do, and it was so easy for me to create. Now, in the past, I have tried InfoPath. I was never able to really work it out.
Exactly.
Right, and also SharePoint Workflow Designer. I could never quite grip it.
Yeah.
Right? And so the best thing I can say is it's hard to say blanket that this is going to work for everyone, but for someone like myself who claims proudly non-technical, I'm able to use this tool in extremely meaningful ways.
Yeah.
And so I would challenge to say that yes, we got it right finally.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of support inside of Microsoft and externally. And so I would challenge to say that we're here. This is the one we've been waiting for.
I think so. For me, one thing that Microsoft's never done too well is the consumerization of technology. So I was a big user of this and that before. I do a lot of home automation stuff, so I use that for a lot of stuff in that area. And then obviously Flow came in. It's like, does it fit in? I personally actually think it's got right. I think it is something people can go in. From a SharePoint site, just click a flow, create a new flow, do an announcement. It's integrated nicely. It does feel like it's simple enough for those guys to actually go out and make use of that.
That's been good. I think the integrations in all those places you mentioned in SharePoint, like that's a way too that we're really trying to bring in the end user, right? And so they don't even have to build these flows. They're there just to use. They click a button, it builds it for them. They're able to then benefit. And so I like that you mentioned that. That's just another one of those little ways that we're trying to move beyond those older tools.
Yeah. Absolutely. Good. So, concerned about pricing. So I've got 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 users in an organization. I'm running flows, they're firing. Yep, keep going, keep firing off. Is this going to cost me a fortune? Because this is going to be a lot of compute time that we're going to end up consuming that many users. If we're just letting it out into the business for them to go wild, wild west, start creating flows, is it going to cost me a fortune without me realizing?
So no, the beautiful part about Flow is if you have Office E1 through E5, you actually already have Flow entitlement. And so what that gives you is 2,000 runs per month per user, and then that actually aggregates at the tenant level. And what that means is if you have half your users that don't use their flows, the other half of the users get to use all those flows. And then let's say that by some miracle, your 100,000 users run out of their 200 million flow runs, right? You can buy them for $40 for 50,000 more.
Wow.
And so at the end of the day, it's very, very cheap. Now, we do have some upgraded licenses where if you want to do business process flows or CDS or some of these really, really advanced features, we do have some advanced plans we call P2. And also to administrate your environment, immediately those are the ones that you're going to want to buy P2 licenses for. So to recap all that and put it all together, you'll buy P2 licenses for your admins, and then the rest of your users will use all their Office entitlement, which you're already paying for, and so you get Flow at no additional cost there. And now if one little last thing, if you want to try those premium features, if you're like, I don't know, I should be able to try this before I buy it. Lucky for you, you can actually go and get a trial. Go to the Power App site, go to the pricing page, click request a trial, you get a free 90 days. We give you everything so you can test it out fully, see if you like it, and if you want to stay with us.
Fantastic, that's awesome. Another thing to bear in mind as well, a key point you hit on there, so one of the issues I had in the past with SharePoint Designer workflows is around workflow ownership. User creates a workflow, put it out there, user leaves the business, and then the
Yes.
workflow stops working.
Yes.
So I'm really excited about the business process flows, because I assume that's going to remove the user entity to that and build more of a service application type thing, where I would normally use a Logic app traditionally for that. Nice to open that up, so that's really exciting. So happy about that.
Awesome.
So how do you integrate with the rest of Microsoft? So as a Flow team, you're integrating with a lot of other products, you're also aligned with Logic apps, so where does your team fit within Microsoft and the rest of the groups?
So we are aligned in the business applications organization under James Phillips, and we're part of the Power Platform, and so that means Flow, Power Apps, and Power BI. And so those are our closest sister teams. We work with them the most. But then on the Flow team, we actually have a PM, Marwan Hadeh. What's up, Marwan? He manages all of our integrations. And so he deals with the Teams team and the SharePoint team and Exchange and all these others. And so he's actually managing all of our relationships externally with those teams. And so he's working with them every single day. And so to answer how do we communicate or work with other teams, Marwan on our team, that's his entire job. And so he's focused on integrations entirely. So we're very focused on that.
Brilliant. So you've become very, very prevalent in the community. You're evangelizing a heck of a lot about Flow, which is awesome to see. And for me, doing it in the right way from Microsoft. So some people come out and kind of try to just show too much sales and marketing. You're in there in the community. For me, it feels like you're doing it the right way and sort of the right attitude in the community. So that's obviously important to you. How important is the community back to you, your team, and to Microsoft?
Man, so for us, one of the things that when I came in and they asked me to be senior PM in charge of community, one of the things I said was, if I'm going to take that on, we are going to listen. Right? I will not be part of something where we're going to gather feedback and say, thanks for the feedback, I'll take it back to the team.
Yeah.
We're going to actually...
Never heard that before.
Right.
We hear you.
Right? We hear you, right? And I heard that for a long time, and people were skeptical, right? But it's extremely important. Your input as the community is extremely important. We are listening. Our whole roadmap for October are items that we pulled straight out of our user voice. All of our top items, 35 top items, I think. So when the community requests it, we are absolutely listening. And so I am actually the feedback engine into the team for that. And so if you have requests, I'm a great person to get in touch with. If you need support, if you need to have meetings to talk about governance, if you need PMs, whatever it is that you need help with, that's been my role, and I've taken that very seriously. And so I have tried really to embrace the community and to make sure that everyone knows that we are truly, truly listening.
So if people do want to talk about, you mentioned user voice just now, great tour across the whole Microsoft, so hopefully that's an obvious place for people to go, but where else can people find you and feed that back to you?
We have a Microsoft Flow community, over 100,000 monthly active users there. Our MVPs are there. We have a support staff that helps answer questions. It is an amazing resource to go and get started and to get help. Also, my Twitter, I am kind of the on-the-spot Flow news source. If something can wait a few days, it goes to the normal Twitter, but that's a great place to get Flow information as well. And also, the big one, I'm going to do a little shameless plug here, my YouTube channel is where you're going to really see the most valuable content. Myself and Kent, myself and PMs and engineers on the team, I'm regularly making videos, doing tutorials, ranging from beginner stuff that I do, and then I bring in Kent and we do crazy stuff like flows that call flows that call flows, and so my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jon L. Seattle.
Yeah, we'll put a link on the video, I think, when that comes in, so fantastic. So what's your favorite thing in Flow?
Oh man, I love button flows. I make so many buttons, not only physical, but like digital ones too, just for stupid things. I made one that would send out Valentine's Day cards.
Fantastic.
Seriously.
Cards.
Email cards. Yeah. I made one the other day that I press a button and it'll text my girlfriend a random like lovey thing. I made a little database of nice things to say. I hit the button, it just sends her a text with that message. Right? Just simple little thing. I love buttons. There's so many things you can do with them. I have a million different use cases in all the videos and stuff. I won't talk too much about them now, but Flow buttons are a blast.
Yeah,
do you like buttons?
I do. I've got a ton on my phone. I just want to trigger them on my watch.
I'm gonna talk to them about that for you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So lastly then, what's next for Flow? Where do you go from here?
Man, so you're gonna see a lot more integration. So Power Apps, Flow, BI, Dynamics, that whole experience is really, really going to come together and become much more refined. You're going to deal with all those things in one experience. Also solutioning. You're going to be able to export flow packages, like these 5 flows and these 2 apps make this solution. You can host that places. And so this is our first beginning answer to organizational templates. Also, we are looking to simplify the expression editor.
Yes.
And so if you go and look in Logic Apps and see the expression tree editor,
yes, I like
that's
this.
something that we're looking to bring in for ourselves as well.
Excellent.
Also, you'll notice that we have begun to abstract away some of the need for expressions as well. So date time, we built a date time conversion connector, so that way a user doesn't have to understand add days or remove days.
What's UTC format?
What is UTC? What's the Z for? Right? So you're going to see it all come together, and you're going to continue to see it get simplified.
Brilliant.
And also look for BPFs, because with the introduction of BPFs, we now also have state.
State workflows.
Yes.
Heaven.
Yes.
Excellent. That's good.
Yeah, it's a pretty exciting time, man.
It is. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate taking time to come and talk to me,
pleasure.
and keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. It's been great.
Super.